So I think we can start now. So everybody who's been waiting patiently with us and everybody who's joined us just now, a very good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. And it's an effort that we put out for our Ranusys teammates to incur and to encourage internal building, internal development, and get our best and our most accomplished teammates to add on to our knowledge base. And this webinar, like all the other webinars that we have been doing, is catered into that direction. And I hope everyone who is attending this webinar with us at the moment, takes a thing or two and so many insights with what Kavita is going to be sharing with us today. This is currently the third in the series of Salesforce integration with powerful platforms. And while every one of us are, enjoying into the Friday mood, weekending and all those kind of things, we have a very special person with us who, is dedicating her weekend and, her entire Friday into teaching us and helping us get through on board and to make sure that all of us are self-accomplished professionals. And with that, I welcome Kavita Saini with us. Thank you so much, Kavita, for joining us today for this webinar. And thank you so much for taking out the time.
Thanks, Anushka, for such a warm welcome. All right, I'm sharing my screen, and
just before you start, Kavita, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but a few of our attendees might have joined us into our webinar where you taught us Salesforce integration with NetSuite. For all the people who were not present with us in that webinar, I just want to introduce you a bit and just give you a brief introduction. So Kavita is one of the most accomplished professionals in our team. She is working as a system analyst with us, and she's a really active member of the Salesforce community. She is 5x Salesforce certified. She has earned 8x super badges. She's a trailhead ranger, and she is a highly decorated recipient of so many quarterly due awards. And as I said, she's been with Ranusys for 7 years, and currently she's dedicating her time, energy, and everything that she's learning across the way into the Salesforce B2B domain. So here is Kavita Saini to you, and I'm sure that just like your last session, Kavita, this is going to be an amazing one. So the floor is all to you now. Thank you so much, Kavita.
Thanks, Anushka, for such a warm welcome. I'm sharing my screen. Please let me know once you can see it.
Yes, I can see your screen. Can any of our attendees just type on chat and say that they can see your screen too? Okay, we can. All of us can, Kavita.
All right. So very good evening to one and all. In this webinar series on integrations, we are meeting for the third time. And I hope you guys are taking full advantage of these sessions and digging out your most useful piece of information from it. Today, I'm here to present on a topic which is DocuSign integration with Salesforce. Sometimes you must have come across this requirement to get a document digitally signed. DocuSign is the best tool for it. Let's quickly cover the agenda of today's webinar. But before that, a quick glance at my social handles. You guys can connect with me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn handle is at Kavita Saini 89372783. You guys can catch me up on Twitter as well. My Twitter handle is at Kavita Saini 23. Now coming to the agenda of today's webinar. In this webinar, we are going to talk about DocuSign. What is DocuSign and why do we need it? What are the benefits of DocuSign? We will see a use case in which we can use DocuSign, and lastly, a demo for that use case. In the demo, I'm going to walk you through how to install DocuSign e-signature for Salesforce package from the Salesforce AppExchange, connect your DocuSign and Salesforce accounts, and add DocuSign features on Salesforce objects. And last but not least, I'm going to show you how to send a document for signing. So let's begin by introducing DocuSign. DocuSign e-signature is a document signing software through which we can electronically sign documents. It is an application designed to collect and manage digital signatures. With DocuSign, we can send an online document to people who need to sign them and then collect and manage those signatures. Now the question comes, why do we need DocuSign? Considering we are not using any document generation tool for generating agreements, if we want to send a quotation to someone for signature, then what we would typically do is we will create a Word document, add all the details of the quotation in the document manually, and the products which the customer has purchased from me, I'll add all these details manually in the document, and I'll repeat this for n number of customers. Now the disadvantage here is this is a very time-consuming process. And since we are doing it manually, it is more prone to errors. So to avoid all these things, we use document generation tools. With document generation tool, our document gets generated on a single click of a button. It's fast, and since we are not doing it manually, it is less prone to errors. Talking about benefits, the very first benefit of using DocuSign is it saves time. Used to replace lengthy signing process, e-signatures speed up the agreement process and cut agreement turnaround time from days to hours and even minutes. It reduces risk by eliminating tedious manual tasks that may result in error and increased risk. Moreover, it increases productivity by automating the workflows to help employees work more efficiently without leaving Salesforce. So these are some of the benefits an organization can derive from this integration. Now talking about the use case in which we can use DocuSign. So we can use DocuSign in many cases, like for sales contract approval, service approvals. It can be used in human resource activities like getting confirmation on offer letters, compensation packages, and much more. The use case which we are going to discuss today is related to opportunity sign-off. I hope you all are aware of opportunities in Salesforce. Any ongoing deal in Salesforce is known as an opportunity. Once the opportunity gets created in Salesforce, it goes through various stages from prospect to qualification to need analysis to negotiation, and it is finally marked as closed won once the customer signs it. So we are using DocuSign to get those signatures from the customer based on which we will mark our opportunity as closed won. So what our use case is, as soon as the customer will sign the opportunity agreement, we will change the opportunity stage to closed won and we will attach the signed agreement with the opportunity record. Now there are few prerequisites before we get going. You need a Salesforce org. You need to enable my domain in that Salesforce org, and you need to have a DocuSign account or a free developer account. Here I have given you a link to sign up for a free DocuSign trial account. On visiting this link, this form will open, asking for some basic details. All you need to do is fill in all the details and click on Get Started. Once you click this particular button, you will receive an account activation email from DocuSign, and after that, you will get your DocuSign account. But the DocuSign account will be free only for a 30 days trial period. After that, you have to pay some amount to DocuSign to get the paid version. Now coming straight to the AppExchange package, which we are going to use to achieve this use case. For those who do not know what AppExchange is an enterprise cloud marketplace with ready-to-install apps, solutions, and services that extend Salesforce. Instead of creating our own solutions, we can look for thousands of available solutions that fits to our need on AppExchange. So there are two ways to access AppExchange. First is you can go to your home quick find and you can type AppExchange in the search box and access it this way. Another way is you can directly go to appexchange.salesforce.com. Once you land in the AppExchange, you need to search for DocuSign. And you will be presented with a variety of packages that DocuSign provides us, like DocuSign e-signature for Salesforce, DocuSign CLM for contract lifecycle management, DocuSign Gen for Salesforce. For the purpose of today's demo, we are going to use DocuSign e-signature for Salesforce package. Since this package installation takes a significant amount of time, I have already installed this package in one of my Salesforce orgs but I will guide you through the installation steps via screenshots, which I have taken during the installation process. So once you click on this particular package, this page will open and you will find a Get It Now button there. Once you click on this button, a pop-up window will open asking you where you want to install this package, in production or in sandbox. Now, if you want to try the functionality of this package in sandbox first, you need to click on install in sandbox. Otherwise, click on install in production. Once clicked install button, you will be presented with a screen asking to accept some terms and conditions. You need to check the checkbox and click confirm and install. Once clicked, it will ask you for which users you want to install this package. For admins only, for all users, or for some specific profiles. So here we can select all users. Don't worry, just because we are installing the app for all users doesn't mean all users have access to it. Only the users who will be granted access manually will have access to use the DocuSign app. So after selecting install for all users, we need to click on install. It will ask us to grant access to some third-party websites that DocuSign uses internally. So you need to check this checkbox and click continue. Once the package will install, you will receive an acknowledgement email regarding the package installation. And you can find your installed package under setup installed packages. So that's all regarding the installation process. Now let's directly jump into a Salesforce org and see DocuSign in action. So I have logged into one of my Salesforce orgs in which I have installed the package. Now, once the package is installed in your org, you will see a new app created under App Launcher with the name of DocuSign Apps Launcher. On clicking this app, this page will open where you will see a 3-step wizard. So basically, we have to follow 3 steps to connect DocuSign to Salesforce. And the first step is login into DocuSign. So the DocuSign account which we have created in the prerequisites, we need to log in using that DocuSign account. And here you will see 2 options, login into DocuSign and login into demo account under advanced options. So if you are having any developer edition or production environment, you need to click on login into DocuSign. And if you are having any sandbox environment, you need to click on login into demo account. Since I'm using a developer edition here, so I'll click on login into DocuSign. Once clicked, a pop-up window will open where you need to provide your DocuSign username and password. So since my account is already selected here, I'll submit my password. Once my password is submitted, a Salesforce login screen will open asking you to log into your Salesforce org. So let me quickly log into my Salesforce org, provide the password. So once you're done with this step, you will move to the second step where you will see your DocuSign account pre-selected. You need to click next. In the last step, we need to authorize access to Salesforce so that DocuSign can upload documents to our Salesforce records. For that, we need to click on allow access. This will ask us to log in into our Salesforce org. So I'm logging into my Salesforce org. And that's it. Our DocuSign is connected with Salesforce now. And once the connection is established, you will see this particular screen on the DocuSign Setup tab. Now, this is the configuration page of DocuSign, which is designed for DocuSign administrators. From here, they can configure different DocuSign features like e-signature, which we will discuss in some time. Another important thing admins can do from this setup page is add more users to DocuSign. So for that, if you remember, while installing the application, we have installed it for all users. So just because we have installed the app for all users and provisioned it for all users, doesn't mean all users have access to it. We need to give them access panel. And for that, we need to go to user management, click manage, click add users. Now here I can add a user searching by name or email. I also have the option to give access via profile and permission set. So if I'm giving access via profile, then all the users under that profile will gain access to DocuSign. So currently I'm using a user option, and let me search a username to whom I want to give DocuSign access to. Select this checkbox and click continue. Now I need to select the permissions which I need to give to this user. Now, since I want this user to only send documents for signature, I'm giving him user access. If I wanted him to create templates and manage other DocuSign users, I would have need to give him administrator access. So I'll click apply. Once added, the user will receive a DocuSign activation email to activate their DocuSign account. All they need to do is click on the activate button and set up a password for themselves. And that's it. They can start using DocuSign to send documents for e-signature. And as you can see, the status is pending here. So once the user starts using DocuSign and authorizes his org, the status will change to active. So now that I have shown you how to set up user, I'm now going to show you how to create a template, apply it to an object, and create a custom button. So for that, the first thing you need to do while still in your DocuSign Apps Launcher app is go to DocuSign Envelope Templates and click on New button. Give your template a name. I'm giving it as agreement. Select a data source where we want this template. So as we discussed in the use case, we wanted to work on opportunity. So I'm selecting opportunity as data source and I'll click next. Now I'm brought to this workflow. So here, the first step we need to do is we need to upload the document that we want to send for e-signature. So I have created a document that I'm going to show you. So this is the document which we want to send for e-signature. We want to include these 5 details in this document, which is opportunity name, account name, amount, created date, and sign-off remarks. So I'll quickly upload this document here. Once I'm done with it, I'll click next. Now, then here, I'm going to add the recipients who are going to receive this template. For that, I need to click on Add Recipient. And then you will be provided with a variety of options to add recipients. We can add recipients dynamically from Salesforce using lookup fields and related lists. For example, we can add a lookup field of opportunity object like owner. We can even add us from selected related list of opportunity like opportunity contact roles, which means all the contacts related to opportunity will receive the document for e-signature. Another option is to directly add a user or contact searching by their name. So I'm going to use this option to add a recipient to my document. Now I have added someone who needs to sign the document. But if I didn't want them to sign and they only want to receive a copy, then these are different types of actions, like needs to sign, receives a copy, needs to view, in-person signer, etc. Since here, in this case, I wanted this user to sign the document, I'm keeping the action as needs to sign, and I'll click add. We also have the option to add more than one recipient to our template. And in that case, we can define the signing order, like which recipients needs to sign first, and then the document will be routed to the second recipient. Since I'm using a single recipient here, I'm not defining the signing order. And here is where I can add an email subject and email message. This is the subject and content of the email, which will be sent to the recipient, enclosing the document to be signed. Now I want to make a little bit changes in the email subject. I'm giving the name as agreement. And I'm keeping the email message as it is, as I'm okay with it. If you want to make changes to the email message, you can do it from here. So once, since I'm happy with it, I'll click on next. Now here is where we need to pull in fields to show in our template. So if you remember the document which I have shown to you, it needed 5 types of information in it. That is opportunity name, account name, amount, created date, and sign-off remarks. So let me quickly pull in these fields here. So for that, I'll click to add field. The first field is opportunity name. It comes with an API name of name. So I'll click name here. I'll keep it as read only because I don't want the signer to make changes to this field. We have more options through which we can add tooltip to this field, and the validation is not relevant in this case. So I'll explain it in a while. So I'll click save. Second field which we want is account name. So for that, I will select account ID this time, which is a lookup of account object. Since this is a lookup field, it will present me with another dropdown to select from which field of this lookup relationship you want to fetch data from. So I'll select account name here, and I'll keep it as read only since I don't want the signer to make changes to this field. I'll click save. So the next field is amount. So let me select amount here and keep it as read only. Another field is created date. So this is the date time field here, created date. I'll keep it as read only and I'll click save. And the last field is sign off remarks. So in this field, I basically want to take input from the signer that if he or she has any sign off comments, he can add those comments along with the signature. So for that, I'll search for sign off remarks field here. I'll mark this field as allow write back to Salesforce, which means whatever data the signer will input in this field will write back to my Salesforce opportunity record in the sign off remarks field. I have more options to mark this field as required, which means the signer will not be able to submit the signatures without filling this field. But since this is not the case here, I'm not making it required. We have more options to add validations to this field, like if this field is an email type field or a number type field, we can add those validations here. Even we can add a custom validation using regular expressions as well. So since I do not have any such requirement for validation, I'm keeping it as it is, and I'll click save. So these are all the fields which we wanted to show on our template. Now it's time to place these fields on our template. So for that, I'll click on place fields. And this will bring me to this new interface. And I can see it is nothing but the document which I have uploaded in the first step. So what I need to do now is I need to drag and drop the merge fields on this template at correct places. For that, I'll go to merge fields. You can see all the fields that we have added under merge fields are present here. So let me quickly drag and drop these fields to correct position. So opportunity name will come here, then account name, then amount, created date, and sign off remarks. Now, if you can see, with each of these fields, there are a variety of options present on the right-hand side. We can change the formatting of this field. We can add a font style or change the font size. We can add a tooltip along with this field. We can add validations for this field if it is an email or number type field. We can even change the location of this field. So if you can see, if I'm making changes to this particular number, you see my field is dragging towards right. So I can change the location of the field here. Even I can add some conditional logic as well, that based on this field, which other field should be visible to the user. So all these things we can done from these options. Lastly, I'll also put a signature field on the template since I want to take signature from the user. I'll also put a date signed field below the signature field so that it will capture the date on which signature is done. All right, so since I'm done with placing all the fields, I'll click on save and close. And now comes the options tab. We can use options tab to customize envelope settings such as reminders and write back. We can use reminders to set how often recipients should be notified about their unfinished tasks. So for example, you want to remind someone to sign every single day. If he hasn't signed yet, you can select every day in this dropdown. Similarly, the other options work. Every 2 day means the reminder will be sent to every alternate day till the document is not signed. Since I do not have any such requirement, I am clicking as do not remind. Expiration lets you set the number of days this envelope will be active. So if you have any such scenario that the document which you are sending for signature should be active only for X number of days, after which it should expire, you can add those number of days here. I'm accepting the default value as 120 days. Now comes the sending experience. Sending experience lets you decide what senders can add to an envelope. Default gives senders the most of the options. They are allowed to upload additional documents, specify recipients, place Salesforce and DocuSign fields on the template before signing recipients. Place fields only allows sender to place DocuSign and Salesforce fields on the template before sending. And send now sends the document immediately. Sender can't add or change anything. Now, if you remember our use case, as soon as the opportunity is marked as closed won, we need to change our stage to closed won. And as soon as the opportunity is signed, we need to change our stage to closed won. And we need to save the signed agreement to our opportunity record. So I'll use these two remaining settings to achieve this use case. So first, let's talk about the updating the stage to closed won. So this field update section basically triggers updates to the Salesforce fields based on the envelope events. So to add any field update, I need to click on add update, and I can select an envelope event from this drop-down menu. Now here, envelope events are nothing but the stages in the signing process. Like envelope sent means when the envelope is sent to the recipient. Envelope delivered means when envelope is delivered to the recipient's inbox. Envelope completed means when all the recipients have signed the envelope. So, and similarly, we have other options as well. So since our target in the signing process is when all the recipients sign the document, so I will select envelope completed as my event, and I'll search the field which I want to update, that is stage, and I'll add a value for this field here, that is closed won. Right, so the next requirement was we need to save the signed agreement back to Salesforce. For this, we will use document write back setting. Document write back saves a copy of the signed document back to our Salesforce record. In case we are sending more than one document for signature, we have the option to combine all the documents into one PDF file. We also have the option to set the format of the file name, which gets saved back to Salesforce. So here I'm selecting as envelope email subject plus envelope status.pdf. This particular checkbox saves the document certificate of completion back to Salesforce opportunity record. But since I don't want this certificate of completion, I'm keeping it as unchecked. So that's it. I have tweaked the settings used in the template before and after sending. Now the last thing remaining is I need to create a custom button. For that, I'll click on next. Here I'll give a label to my button as send agreement. And I want to add this button to all the page layouts. So I'm selecting all the page layouts here. And once I'm done with it, I'll click save and finish. So that's it. The configuration part is done here. And now let's see DocuSign in action. So let me quickly go to opportunities and find the opportunity where stage is not closed won. So I'm selecting an opportunity, this one, United Oil Installations. The stage is negotiation and review. I'll click on this opportunity. And you can see this is the button which we have added. So DocuSign has added this button on our opportunity template layout. So let me click on this button. Now I'm bring to this interface. So if you remember, we have selected the default sending experience. That's why the user are presented with these options to add any additional document, specify the recipients, or add Salesforce or DocuSign fields on the template before sending. If we would have selected send now as the sending experience, the sender would not have been presented with such options and the document should have gone straight for signature. So since I have set the sending experience as default, so I have the option to upload documents, but since I don't want to upload any extra document, I'll just click on next. Recipient is already here, which we have added during the configuration process. I do not want any second recipient, so I'm keeping it as it is. The next part is prepare and send. So here you can see the template on which we have dragged and dropped all our merge fields. It will open here. And as you can see, the opportunity which I have selected here, the details of that opportunity is automatically populated here. So I'll check all the details are correct here. So I'll click on send. Once I click the send button, I'll receive an email from DocuSign. Let me open this email and click review document. I click continue. And as you can see, all the details are correctly populated here. This is the sign off remark field in which we can add our input. So I'm adding a sign off remark as kickstart will be next week. All right, I'll click on the sign field and it will adopt one of my signatures. If I wanted to change these signatures, I can click on change and draw my own signatures as well using the draw option. So since I want to adopt the same signatures, so I will click on adopt and sign. And this will change my signatures. So once I'm done with it, I'll click on finish. No, I don't want to log into DocuSign. And that's it. Let me go back to my opportunity. Now it would take around a minute's time for the signed agreement to get attached to this opportunity and the stage to change to closed one. So I'll keep refreshing this page. So now you can see our completed document is now attached to this opportunity record. If I click this document, I can see my signatures are here and all the details are correctly populated here. The sign off remarks are here, which we have entered. And if I reload this page, I will see the opportunity stage is marked as closed form. So this is the field update which we have added in our configuration to mark the opportunity stage as closed one. And if I check the details tab and check the sign off remarks field, data in this sign off remark field is populated exactly what we have added in the document while doing the signatures. So this was our use case that we wanted to achieve via DocuSign. That's all for the demo, which I wanted to give you to show how to use DocuSign and send a document for signature. I hope I'm able to give you better insight about the use of DocuSign. And now I'm opening the session for Q&A. If you have any queries, you can ask me.
So much, Kavita, for such an enlightening session. I'm sure that all of us, all the attendees must have thoroughly enjoyed it, especially people who work in Salesforce, because as you said, we live in a world right now where the traditional methods of getting documents approved, reviewed, and signed don't work anymore. And when we talk of Salesforce and DocuSign together, these are two really powerful platforms that together can help in so many ways and in so many use cases. So thank you so much for giving out your time for this one. Thank you so much again. And before I open the floor to all the questions, I just had one question in mind. You were detailing a few around the use cases that this integration, can be beneficial for. So could you just, tell all our attendees a few use cases where we can, this integration can be useful to them?
All right. So as we can see, we in Salesforce, we have opportunities and we want to take sign off on opportunities. So we can use this particular DocuSign to get those signatures from the user, and we can use it in human resource activities like for getting confirmation on the offer letters or compensation packages, and we can use it for service approvals as well. And one use case we have already seen in today's demo, that is we can use it for opportunity sign off. So these are some of the use cases we can use DocuSign for.
Okay, so I have a question from one of our attendees. What is an opportunity?
Opportunity, basically any ongoing deal in Salesforce is known as an opportunity. So if we have a prospect customer with us, so we'll call it as an opportunity for us. And that opportunity will go through various stages from prospect to qualification, then needs analysis, then negotiation, and it is finally marked as closed won once the customer signed this opportunity. So it is basically any ongoing deal in Salesforce, which is known as an opportunity.
Okay. So I have another question for you coming your way, Kavita. Amit has a question for you. Amit, I am going to unmute you at the moment and you can ask the question yourself.
Hi, Kavita.
Hi, Amit.
Yeah, like I have a doubt, like what if recipient don't have the DocuSign account and they have received that document for signing. So for signing part, they have to create a DocuSign account first or they can sign directly?
No, they have to create a DocuSign account. And that I can show you like, just a second. If you remember, when I've added a user in my DocuSign account, I have received the activation email on that email address.
Okay,
so this is the way from which the user will activate their account and set up a password for themselves. And once they do this, they will be able to log into DocuSign and sign the document.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Anybody who has any questions regarding this session, please feel free to ask. This is your chance to get your queries resolved by Kavita. So please go ahead. I believe the session was too great for anyone to ask any more questions. So again, Kavita, while we were talking about Salesforce and DocuSign integrations, of course, a lot of us, might be able to pinpoint at the various benefits this integration has to offer. But could you just brief us a bit about what advantages are we talking about with this integration over here?
All right. So the advantages are, the first thing, it is environment friendly. Since we are making all the things digital, so the use of paper, so we are saving millions of tons of trees for this. Then this process is, it promotes transparency, that all the recipients who are present in the process of signing, they can see the status of the contract, the agreement anytime. They can check the status. So it promotes transparency as well. And if I talk about more benefits, then it saves time, that sending the papers manually through fax and couriers and then getting back the response and then printing them back. Definitely, it's a very tough and time-taking task. So it saves time as well.
Of course. Truly said about the safe environment and the green environment initiative that we all talk about. DocuSign is clearly turning the page over here with that. And when we talk of this integration, it's an integration between two very different platforms on two very different environments. So do you have any tips for anybody who would, want to get a hands-on experience on this integration after this session? Any tips that you might want to recommend?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing, the AppExchange package, which I have shown you, which I have installed in my org, and we have implemented this whole thing using that package. You will get an admin guide on that package. So that will be a developer guide for you. And that will tell you all the step-by-step process to make this integration work. So my first advice would be, go to the AppExchange package, download that admin guide, and then start following all the steps mentioned in the guide. And that will lead you to the final conclusion, what you want from this particular integration.
Of course, I hope every one of us, would like to get our hands over that developer guide, because frankly, this chapter or this session has been truly a great one for all of us over here. For everyone out there, we are currently recording this session. So if you have any questions, of course, you can directly talk with Kavita, or you can, go over to our YouTube profile and just, revisit this session. I hope that will be helpful for a lot of our attendees over here. Okay, so thank you so much, Kavita, for joining us today. And thank you so much, everyone who has attended this session with us. Thank you so much for being such great audience and for putting across your points and all the questions that you had. And of course, Kavita, for taking out the time for this webinar. I am very, very sure that every one of us have gained a thing or two from this. And that's a wrap for this webinar. I will see you in the next webinar on the series of Salesforce integration with powerful platforms. Until then, have a very happy weekend and a great weekend, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.